Yeah. That was the old brick one. It's an old tram shelter. They were going to demolish it last year. This time last year, last Christmas. Get rid of it, put a nice piece of plastic or glass. Nobody wanted it. Doesn't take too long for nature to revert back to what it was, and the hills clad in the old bush. And even as we go up here, a lot of the properties on the older style, rocket up in value. In fact, they're close to the city. Most of them on the top will have a view. In those early days, the higher up the hills you went, the cheaper your houses were, because people didn't like living up too far up the top.
Yeah. And do people still value the older properties as a premium over the new ones?
A lot of them are, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. I mean, you're allowed to, take a little bit of maintenance if you like to do some work on the banks. The council don't mind either. You can improve it a little bit. As long as when you sell it, you've got to just remind people that maybe up the bank isn't theirs, really.
Yeah.
Tables probably for older you ladies, and getting all these teams, and then we'd see the only game we used to see once a year was the FA Cup game.
Oh,
now you can see everything.
See everything. If you see enough money, you can watch it all.
Top of the hill. Nope. So we've got Hawkins Hill radar station, which is situated at the top. It's the old entrance to Long Gully, which we're going to go right through before we get down to the beach. And originally, you'll see the remnants of the farm fences. They farmed all this area up and down the hills. I suppose they did alright in those first 50 odd years because they had a market right down below them. Small settlement that Wellington was developing into. But once they started getting into the area of exporting, then these quality sheep up here weren't matching what they wanted. So by about the 60s and 70s they realised the farm wasn't going to be that economic. Just an old square looking army barracks building for many years. And by about the 1960s, 70s there was nobody using it. It was basically falling into disrepair. So the government decided to sell off some buildings and some, they sold off half our Air Force and other things, and sank a few frigates.
Yep.
So this came on the market and the guy bought it in a really run-down state. He's probably spent well over $1 million restoring it, adding to it, and he can't get past some good old council red tape, to make it open and possible for him to have guests. But he's around, and even more probably. So at the moment it's really himself, not even his family bother coming and staying with him.
Oh no.
But he's a very wealthy guy, and when those big doors open up, out pops a Porsche or two.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit very wealthy, yeah.
But we're only about 500 metres up, and it's incredible when the weather changes like this. Getting it in there. Well, one of my nephews has gone the other way. He's now working, he's down from Manchester, I think. He's gone over, he married a young British lady and went back home for a few years. Have you girls got your own phones?
Yeah.
You have? Yeah, just like my two.
Not here, they don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
I do.
Yeah, we no, it costs a small fortune to have the phones here.
Oh yeah, you go on global roaming, I suppose, so it's hardly worth it, no. I mean, I took my two girls back to Fiji. I was born and bred over there, strangely enough.
Really? Fiji?
Yeah, my mum and dad, after all the way of coming out to New Zealand, well, especially my mum, she was only about 18 when she arrived here, and her folks became a
And it's somebody's house?
Yeah, there's a couple of, there's quite a big family now that live on the property, and a lot of the boys are growing up, they're in their 20s and 30s now, so they've all got their own ones. They brought that one in, trucked it in, and then they had it on one site for about 10 years, and then they thought, no, it's getting a little dangerous on the top of the hill, we'll move it up a little higher. There's an old manager's cottage down below us.
Alright.
There's another big farm homestead at the other end of the valley. There's one or two you'll see as we go down the hill. So, quite big.
Too popular.
We'll come down here, we'll just check and see if the deer are there. There's a little And then when we go out, we're going to follow this valley road all the way down on the way home. They will. Yeah.
I'll get a bit of years early.
Do you feed them
But it's usually...
They'll be coming to
He'll come down. They get normally pretty close to us. Right, we come down.
Ollie, Ollie.
And the duck.
Ollie. Look, Daddy, look.
Hi there.
Hello. Like that.
Hey, Holly.
Oh, that's a lot of river there. That's a lot.
Look at the little one.
Hey, Dad. Not a bit.
You need a big trunk, don't you? Sure. Where's the mum?
The mums. That's
She like this.
down south, these ones. Far too many of them, mate. The big ones, the red ones.
It's not about the price of the meat down, mind you. You know, the meat's still
Well,
the
that's,
same.
yeah.
Meat's still the same price, but there's a lot of big cow going on there.
No face
Okay.
roses.
Okay.
He took it out of my hand.
Not far out of Wellington recently, and he said just up the back they were looking up the tree, and there's about 4 stags just standing there. Get that rifle out, you know, on my property.
Love it. Thank you.
I know. I'm slowly getting this guy, you know, every now and again he'll eat out of my hand, not too often. Stops about there. Keeps in track of all the others. The little seekers are quite different. They can get in. Yeah, to the box. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nearly. She's nearly
She
done.
is really there.
Yeah. I'm sure it won that one. Sure you will. There you go, my friend.
Come on.
Right, I'm getting wet.
Right, yeah. Yep. See you later. See you tomorrow.
No.
Throw it in. Now this corner here today, no wind at all basically, but some days that wind gust feels like it's doing that 200 kilometres an hour. We don't usually stop on this point, but we'll go and have a little look without getting out if you want to.
Yeah.
Check one side down of the gully, see where the fault goes. It's pretty steep, pretty rugged bit of countryside down there. Looks like a little bit of a miniature, you know, gully with a small creek running down it. It has the potential, of course, as they say, to be a bit like the San Andreas fault maybe and open up one day. Hopefully never in our lifetime. Tough on the small cars if you're bringing one down, but just take it slowly. Cook Strait's beautiful today, apart from not being able to see much. Quite often this piece of water is a bit like probably the North Sea or the English Channel.
Quite turbulent.
Quite turbulent, yeah. In fact, just 2 nights ago, you know, I think it was, or Christmas Eve, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, sort of roughed up a little bit for a day or two. These sailing ships coming around. Now you can see some tracks on the beach, that's where we're going. We're going to go round the first bay, then a second bay, and then go round and do a bit of rock climbing. Treat it like a farm gate. King Kong. Seen any of those? Some of these hillsides, they actually send film scouts all around these coastal areas to pick up rocky sites like this one. And they actually thought this looked quite good, so they recreated some of what you see here in the studio, and then get people to make everything basically to scale. And then sometimes they film it as miniature, but then that looks like a big mountain. And then they recreate ones that they can climb up and all sorts. And it's always worth a look. In the winter months you're bound to find some here as soon as you come down. In the summer months seals are like us, they go on holiday sometimes, they venture around. Sand rides coming. And if you really like it and want to come back, you can come and hire this little cottage one day. I was very honoured to have the luxury of staying a couple of nights here last year. And now my girls say, when do we go back to the cottage on the beach? We want to come and stay here. And this is like a little motel. You can hire this one out. It's got basically everything you need except anywhere to plug in electrical devices. Yeah. It's quite good.
Perfect.
So yeah, they soon said, you know, same thing. Once your phone runs out, that's it.
That's it.
Oh, but we could go in the car and recharge it. No. You don't need to do that. But yeah, overall, you're only say an hour, half an hour at most to get back to town if you needed to. So every bay is different. We're going to go through some like this where there's lots of gravel and rock, and then some will be big sand dunes, sandy beaches, rock climbing, a little bit of rock climbing at the other end. Now we just go through our little dippers. I want to see some smile and hear some laughter. Going through here. Here we go. Rightio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now was my counting up to scratch?
Not sure there.
Not sure. You like that one? We can come back that way again. Sometimes we go round the way on the way back, but it's up to you. When I was in my little vehicle, my little Hilux, you can just about go airborne through there if I go too fast. My mechanic told me recently that's probably why it needs some new shock absorbers.
Yeah.
Now just coming up here, you might notice in a moment a whole lot of funny little flies might attract themselves to our vehicle. That's why we just shut the windows for a moment. It's usually on this corner. I don't know what's in here, but they're just thousands of them. And when it's wet and when there's fresh seaweed around, they seem to pop out. You'll see them all around here in a second. They come in here, they are. Just in here. You think, what's in here? It's like a little place, yeah. I mean, it's almost like the guy this morning, he was an Australian chap, he was a beekeeper, and he said, it's like a little, you know, colony of bees or something. Okay, we're going to climb over some rocks here. At low tide, of course, the high tide, if it's really rough, the waves will be coming up where we're driving now. It was low tide earlier on, so it's on its way back again. We have to pretty much, we keep what we call the high tracks today. When the tide's down, you can make a run where the waves are, but we won't be doing that, I don't think. Just areas like this that change all the time, no matter what the sea is doing. You know, you get slips coming down, which sometimes help us with a bit of firm undercarriage or something to pack down. Other times everything moves around here, you get a whole lot of seaweed, fresh seaweed, which isn't too good to drive in. Yeah, lots of bumps, keep going, it's just the beginning. When we had our big storms back in May and June, often, especially the June one, the sea was coming up to these hillsides, smashing up into the flats and everything. Right, we go off to do a little bit of sand driving now, or beach driving. We'll take off down to one side. There's a couple of little batches, or cottages you call them. Even one got the flag flying for the Stars and Stripes Day. Hope they had that tomorrow, because we'll probably have some US people on the cruise ship tomorrow. Curry House next door. Yeah. Well, I think these guys are a couple of young builders. They brought that out before Christmas and nailed it up. I said, oh, we're going to have a curry shop. That's good. That will go down well out here. I think, well, you know, I said, well, maybe not a curry, but a good espresso maybe, or something. Yeah, lovely colour, the old one. It's not always like that. I mean, if it gets really roughed up, especially on the bay there, it starts to drag a bit of the old clay and mud out. And everything turns a bit different colour underneath. Oops, a few bumps coming. just getting ready for the fault line. We're going to cross a creek, but we're also going to cross the Wellington fault. And there's a couple of people staying in this little cottage. In fact, they've got their grandchildren out at the moment. The husband and wife decided to move out completely a few years ago. And then their daughter now comes out and brings the kids out. So they were all out this morning in the rain, making sandcastles and huts and things. And excellent. So good on them. Yeah. So if you two girls want to jump here, we could leave you here for an hour. I'm sure they'd be quite entertaining. Yeah. Big, that's the other house, so they'll be doing something out there. Got the Santa up, got the washing out. He had the boat out this morning, so he's already done a bit of fishing today.
And they want a bit of electricity. Yeah.
Basically, they generate their own, yes. You have a little Jenny, got a tiny little wind turbine around the other side. And same with things, you know, he's got fresh water down the creek, but it's still, I think, would be best to filter your water. We've got never-ending supply of seafood.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Clever. Well, he's pretty good. He sits out in the dinghy most times. Isabel gets out and just stands down here. You might see her later on in the day, and she gets the big long rods out. And she's always joking how she catches more than he does. As they say, you've got to have that kind of knack to it.
Right.
What's the winter like down here then?
Oh, pretty miserable some days, yeah. I mean, it can have its fabulous days as well, but you've got to be prepared to put up with real cold. You need to get a lot of wood in, you know, find as much driftwood as you can in the summer, and then hoard it. And I mean, they probably have a, you know, gas burner as well, or something like that. You'd have a
They would live here.
Oh, they do. They live now permanently, yeah.
They live here, right?
He gave his house to one of his daughters, and if it gets too bad, he just, you know, if he checks the weather forecast and it looks like it's really going to pack in for a few days with a big storm, he'll go, get out. But I mean, a bit of rain like this is no different than anywhere else.
But they're here summer and winter, it's not a holiday batch, no?
No. I mean, it was, originally. But he's, you know, they're what you call almost like mountain men. They enjoy the ruggedness, the outdoors. You know, he just pops around the bay to catch up with a friend, does a bit of fishing.
What are they?
These are cormorants. These are the big seabirds just down in front of us. So have a bit of a look here. These are the ones, sometimes you think you're looking at a bunch of penguins, don't you? Yeah. Now, cormorants, I think, you know, pretty much the same worldwide. Although there are those odd ones that David Attenborough showed once that have blue feet and those funny islands and the just apart and then down. We can probably go down this way and to go in. It's pretty soft and messy. That was one of their poles, but it looks like someone's old fishing rod. And when we come back, we might just branch off and go a little bit higher on the way home. You have to be very wary of this bay here. It does have another name called the graveyard. A fair few vehicles get stuck in it, and we've all had our moments through here. Our top track really has disappeared in the last few weeks. We can't really get up any higher. The low stuff, you've got to be really careful not to go too low, of course. Get stuck in the mush patch, call it. Some big rocks we've got to negotiate around. I mean, just a few days ago we would go straight across the bottom at low tide, but it's a little bit kind of, you know, not too inviting at the moment. Yeah, there's a couple of guys further around. There's a little bay around the corner. You'll see quite a few vehicles and huts, and some of them will be out today doing maybe a bit of fishing off the beach or in the boat. Wouldn't be bad for diving, I suppose, but most of them probably are. As much as there's soft stuff, there's also big rocks underneath in some places, so just get yourself around. Just be prepared for a few big ones. We just go, it's like being on a boat sometimes, on a really bad rough day, just wallow around. Ooh, so just watch your head. Yeah, go with it, eh? Go with the flow.
Oh yeah. Never around your house.
So yeah, some boys doing a bit of fishing, I would say, down here. Come down. We go past what we call the old sewer outfall pipe. This is where they used to pump raw sewage down from one of our big suburbs up in the hills called Karori. And this used to be one of the major pipelines to feed into the ocean. They just thought in those days you just send it out 100 metres and gone. But no.
It comes back.
Comes back. And you can't blame it on anybody. We go through the little creek, which is not really flowing out to the sea at the moment. And if we get heavy rain tonight, this will fill up like a lake. So we have to be quite careful tomorrow. And behind us you can start to see a little bit of what was another small block of land that the government sold up once the pipeline was shut down. You know, 300 acres of land was gazetted one day, and most of us never saw it for sale, but someone decided that would be a good buy actually. You get a couple of farm buildings, you get a sewer building as well, you get a pipe. And he's turned it into a little motor camp. So, you know, in these times he's making a bit of money out of it. There's two of them now that kind of run it, and they hire out the old buildings. People come down and spend, like at the moment, especially Christmas, New Year, you get quite a few people come and stay there. Let's see if we can get past this lot. In fact, one of them were having a bit of fun yesterday. We came around the corner, I thought, wow, there's this black smoke billowing out. What the heck's that? They found an old tyre, you know. Next thing you know, someone's set fire to it with a bit of kerosene or something. Just for fun.
As you do.
Whoa. Tour thing, he's, you know, 5 or 6 quad bikes. He was going up the other side of Wellington Harbour, I think, up the eastern side. I don't know how successful he's been. But it's, again, it's one of those things, you know, you've got to be able to. You were doing good?
Yeah, we're good.
Wonderful time here about 5 years ago. I came through one Sunday like this, but it was a fine day, but there had been a storm the day before. There was seaweed everywhere, and I managed to get us stuck in a bit of a hole just where those rocks were. It took us an hour or so to get out of that lot. Then I got the vehicle out and we ended up sliding down the beach. I couldn't get back into the track, and we ended up over here somewhere, just a few feet short of where you want to be, but you're in a bit of trouble. And the tide's on its way, and I thought, oh come on, that's all I need. But eventually someone up the huts was looking, thinking, oh, I better go down and see what he's up to. And 2 or 3 of them in the end, because we all got stuck. They came down, then they get stuck trying to get you out. But you know, in fact, it was a beautiful day, so we had a good bit of fun.
You're not selling this.
Am I?
Not really.
Telling you really? Oh, I like to be honest. This is the most interesting little part here. We have to climb our way through these little rocks. Oops, and there's someone coming the other way, so we'll go back. Unfortunately.
No, it's too high in here now.
Is it?
Well,
Rock face in the middle. And before you know it, he had ruptured the front tyre completely.
Ooh.
It took him a little bit of an effort to, hopefully that's coming through. Occasionally it becomes like a little bit of a bottleneck through here. Just got to nurse it through. It's quite different on the way back. Every vehicle at the moment, there's so many going through, we're creating quite a bit of a hole here. It's a bit of fun, a bit of a challenge.
and what vehicle is this?
It's a Toyota.
A Land Cruiser?
Yep. Just get on. We might squeeze up a little bit more. This is the big one. So you can get over that one. Yep, we're over. Let's get it back out. Away. There's a little bit of slippage today as well on the rocks.
Who ever thought this would be a good way to come through?
And to think, you know, that I mean, years ago this was just, you know, walking and horses, and they would have had the old farm gate here.
Yeah.
You're right, we get through. Someone would have got probably a Land Rover through here one day and thought, you know, I think I can get through right through. Way back in those early years. On the way up. All the guys off the farm coming the other way. What do you do? Down. Ooh, over that one. Over that one. Can you go upwards for us? Up. Can you get up or not? Ooh, no. Right, I'll go down there if you like. Up here. A little bit soft for them. So we're just going to get there. That's probably the trickiest little bit at the moment, with the way everything's been dug up around the centre. And a little bit of dampness today as well. We had to do a bit of road building through there a few months ago after those big storms and fill in the holes, and we end up with a big crowbar. That guy's brother came down off the farm and we dug this huge rock out, but then you've got to sort of fill up the area now. So it's pretty rough just through this bit bouncy.
Hold on.
Hold on, yeah, have some fun. What do my two do? They do use those things with the cameras with selfie?
Selfies, oh yes, yes.
They sit there with these funny looks on their face and I'm thinking, what are you doing, you know?
Just taking pictures of themselves.
Yeah, and then they say, oh, it goes to someone else, they get 60 seconds to look at it and then bingo, it's gone,
Yeah.
you know? I'm thinking, bizarre.
Both of you stepped out.
Minutes and then we'll all have a bit of a wander around. It's not really too rainy. Whoa! Yeah, just got to go with it, I think. And a gentleman a couple of years ago, he was off one of those ships and he had put his neck out. He reckoned he didn't want to do the tour. He said, I can't turn my head, I'm really sore and painful. By the time we're out here, he's turning around and looking at things. And, whoa!
Decorrect his neck.
It's done well for you. So, just a little bit here, one or two there. Whoa, over we go. And then now here's the point where you've got to start looking for those friendly furry seals. Now I know where to look, so I don't count. Start looking up the wrong way. To give you an idea, it's towards the sea.
See one? Where?
Oh, I think I do see one.
Yeah, you probably do.
No, I don't.
No?
Oh, it's up more this one.
If you look out on a rock and see if you can see an old fence post. Just out here. Yep, and look back a little bit. You should see a couple of nice brown objects lying on the rock.
This fence goes here.
The old rock.
Oh yeah.
Go.
There's one!
Where?
On that, they're lying on that rock. There.
Right, there's another one right below it, eh?
Yeah, there's one below.
I can't see anything.
You're looking at the right
Oh
one.
yeah, that one.
See where the post is, we'll come back a little bit.
Oh
I see it
yes,
right there.
there's one underneath too. I
Yeah.
spotted it.
Gosh, yes.
What's the shape of that?
You did it well. Come on.
I
Not spotted.
Well done.
We'd never have got that.
Some people sit here and go, where? No. They're looking out too far. Some
Yep.
See how many's down there. Of course, there's some big birds at the top. They start to nest, the old cormorants, the shags, the seagulls. This time of year, they all start to find a spot and make a little nest on the rocks.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes you've got to watch those things. They come down and dive bomb you. You have any birds like that back in England? Like
Maybe seagulls.
seagulls, same sort of thing, yeah.
I've got some kind of small birds of prey, you know, but
Yep.
they don't come after you. But,
No.
there's lots of seabirds around here.
Yeah. Well, look at, I mean, there's a nice one just come up on that rock since we were just down beside us. Got his head down.
Oh, I see, right, yeah. There's probably in this near rock here, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yesterday we had one right down in the grass here, just beside us. So it's the closest you normally ever get to one when they're just down that close. You know, you've got to be careful, even if you just hang your camera out. Make sure you don't get too close with your hands. And that one over there, he may have come up from another rock down below. I didn't see him up there. I saw the other ones. In the winter months, they'll be all over that peninsula. There could be anything up to 200 to 300 of them.
Is that right? Aye.
Oh,
And where do they go in the summer then?
all over. A lot of the females will head to different areas. There's another point further around on the bottom of the North Island that way where there's a breeding area, Cape Palliser. And obviously the big bull seals like the old stag around there, they never move, they stay in the same spot.
Where is that then?
It's basically the other side of Wellington Harbour. We can't see it, but it's it's a day's travel from Wellington if you go around by bus through the Wairarapa, then right down to the coastal side again.
Okay.
The ships that come out of the harbour, like if there was a cruise ship and it was going north, it would go out the harbour and then take a big left-hand turn and go up the east coast. So there's a fair few up there. There's a few in the south. I mean, there's about 500,000 of them around the coastal areas now. From a point back in 1965 when there was hardly any left, you know, we just about cleaned them out.
And
Hunting them.
protected species.
They're protected now.
Yeah, I suppose there must be.
I think most countries do. Yeah.
Really? Anywhere else?
I mean, it's only, I think now Alaska or one or two other places that, you know, they have a quota number for the
Still bashed over the head,
Yeah. But this was one of the big seal hunting areas, you know, in its day. Yeah, Cook Strait was there were seal hunters down here even when Cook arrived, so they were already here, not interested in colonisation, just getting their business, you know, seals. We often see maybe some small ones that come out at the end of winter. They start to come across the strait from Kaikoura, and they make their first sort of annual swim across over. Hopefully in the future there'll be seal pups born on these coastal areas.